This is gold. For over 5 millennia, humanity has been driven by a singular, glittering obsession. We have conquered lands for it, died for it, and built entire civilizations upon its luster. Yet, if you strip away the history, it's essentially just a shiny rock dug out of the dirt. So why does everyone want it? What is it about this yellow metal that makes us lose our collective minds? Since the very dawn of civilization, humans haven't just used gold, they've worshipped it. In ancient Egypt, this wasn't just a luxury, it was spiritual. They believed gold was the literal flesh of the gods, specifically the sun god Ra. To the pharaohs, being covered in gold wasn't just about showing off wealth, it was about achieving immortality. To put that obsession into perspective, when King Tut's tomb was unearthed in 1922, his innermost coffin alone was crafted from over 110 kilograms of solid gold. That is nearly 250 pounds of precious metal just to bury a teenager. But why is it so valuable? Is it just because it's pretty? Well, the real answer lies in what makes good money. You see, for something to function as a universal store of value, it needs a few specific qualities that most things on Earth simply don't have. First, it is incredibly rare. Gold is formed deep in the Earth's crust over millions of years, often as a result of cataclysmic stellar explosions in space. You can't just print more of it. Second, it is nearly indestructible. Unlike iron, gold doesn't rust. Unlike silver, it doesn't tarnish. And unlike paper, it doesn't rot. A gold coin lost at the bottom of the ocean for 1,000 years will look exactly the same the day it's recovered as the day it sank. Finally, it's impossible to fake. For centuries, alchemists tried to turn lead into gold through magic and chemistry, but they failed every single time. Because nobody could create it out of thin air, gold stayed rare. And because it stayed rare, it became the ultimate form of money. Alright, so we've established that gold is rare and beautiful. But for a long time, trading with it was a total nightmare. If you wanted to buy a cow, you had to carry around random chunks of gold, weigh them on a scale, and pray the other person wasn't cheating you with a gold-plated rock. That all changed around 600 BC in a kingdom called Lydia, located in what we now call Turkey. The king of Lydia had a light bulb moment that would change the world forever. He decided to stop trading random nuggets and start minting standardized gold coins. These were official pieces of gold, stamped with the king's face to guarantee their weight and purity. This was a massive game changer. Now you didn't need a scale to go grocery shopping, you just needed to count the coins. As you can imagine, this idea spread like a high-speed internet in the ancient economy. The Greeks loved them, and the Romans? Well, the Romans took it to a whole new level. When Julius Caesar marched his legions into Gaul, modern-day France, he wasn't just there for the scenery, he was there for the gold mines. He looted so much gold that he could pay his soldiers in legendary gold coins called the aureus. In fact, the very word salary comes from the Latin salarium, which was the money given to soldiers to buy salt, one of the few things as precious as gold back then. But having a massive empire creates a massive problem: greed. Eventually, the Roman Empire ran out of gold mines to conquer, but the emperors still had massive bills to pay, so they got creative. They started making the coins slightly smaller or mixing the gold with cheap metals like copper while telling everyone it was still worth the same. This is what economists call debasement. In plain English, it's the world's first case of hyperinflation. By trying to cheat the gold, the Romans ended up devaluing their currency, which played a huge role in the eventual collapse of the greatest empire the world had ever seen. It turns out you can lie to the people, but you can't lie to the gold. Fast forward to the 15th century. Europe was hungry for more gold, and rumors began to swirl about a new world across the ocean filled with unimaginable riches. This curiosity led to what can only be described as the biggest gold heist in human history. When the Spanish conquistadors landed in the Americas, they encountered the Aztec and Inca civilizations. Now, these indigenous people had plenty of gold, but there was a massive cultural misunderstanding. To the Aztecs, gold was beautiful and sacred, used for intricate art and religious ceremonies. They didn't use it as money to buy bread or shoes. But to the Spanish, gold was everything. They didn't see the history or the art, they saw dollar signs. The conquistadors proceeded to loot massive amounts of treasure, melting down priceless cultural masterpieces, statues, jewelry, and sacred symbols into generic gold bars to be shipped back to Spain. It was a cultural tragedy, but it made Spain the wealthiest superpower on Earth, for a while. But the fever didn't stop in the 1500s. It struck again centuries later, in 1848. A man named James Marshall was building a simple sawmill in California when he spotted something glittering in the riverbed. He tried to keep it a secret, but in the 19th century, news of gold traveled faster than a wildfire. Within months, the California gold rush was on. Over 300,000 people, later known as the 49ers, abandoned their farms, their families, and their sanity to trek across dangerous mountains and oceans. It was total chaos. Towns sprung up overnight and vanished just as quickly. But here is the twist. Most of those prospectors went home broke. The real winners of the gold rush weren't the guys digging in the dirt, they were the businessmen selling the supplies. Take Sam Brannan, for example. He became California's first millionaire not by finding a single nugget of gold, but by buying up every shovel, pickaxe, and pan in the region and selling them at a 1,000% markup. There's a timeless lesson there. In a gold rush, be the one selling the shovels.